Hey everybody, and welcome to Pull Wisely, the weekly Mary Sue feature where we give you our top picks for comics recommendations this week. My name is Teresa Giacino.
I'm Jessica Lechinal.
And before we get started with our Spotlight review, we do want to give you our top 5 picks for the week straight away so that you can run to the comic store and get our top picks.
We can start with Lumberjanes Volume 2, the trade paperback. Holy crap. If you're not reading Lumberjanes, what are you even doing right now? I keep saying that in a lot of the previews that we end up doing for this, but I really mean it this time. You need to catch up, and this last arc was just been amazing.
And it's collected, so there's no excuse.
Number 2, we got Bitch Planet, Volume 1, of course. I mean, if you're not reading Bitch Planet also, what the heck are you doing? Kelly Sue DeConnick, amazing writer. Valentine Delandro, amazing art. It's just one of my favorite comics ever to come out in, the past however long. It's been really great, and you should be reading this right now.
So feministy. I love it.
Oh yeah. It is absolutely beat you over the head, quite literally feminist. It's fantastic. Codename Baboushka, a new Image title. It's fantastic because it takes the regular Bond script and flips it, focuses on the Bond girl and makes her the action hero. So it's an interesting, like I said, flip on the script.
That sounds great. For me, my top picks this week are Toil and Trouble, number 2. We did a preview of this over at the Mary Sue, so you should check that out. But it's a great title. It's really a creative take on Macbeth. Margaret Scott is the writer, and Kelly and Nicole Matthews are the artists. They're doing great work. Check out Toil and Trouble, number 2 from Archaea. And lastly, we've got We Stand on Guard, number 4. Which is a great title from Brian K. Vaughan with art by Scott Scroce. It's spelled Skroce. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing that at all. But it's a great book. It will really make you love Canada. So if you're Canadian, you will adore this book. If you're American, you might not know how to feel about this book, but it's a great story. Amazing female protagonist. You'll love it.
So should we get right into it then?
Yeah, let's jump right into our Spotlight review for this week, which is Assassin's Creed, Trial by Fire, issue number 1, which is out from Titan Comics. Why don't you tell us a little about sum up what it's about, Jessica?
Sure. This is the first issue, which means there's a lot of setup, a lot of exposition, but it focuses on a character named Charlotte de la Cruz, who, as you'll learn, has some connections to the Brotherhood. You learn that right away, so it's not a spoiler. Let me tell you that right now. It's a fantastic video game-based title, and it really captures a lot of the spirit of Assassin's Creed in a lot of good and bad ways, which I'll get into with my review. Yeah.
Well, yeah, just go ahead and tell us from here on out. I think we're going to get into our review and into spoilers. So if you don't want to know any details about Assassin's Creed, know that we think you should pick it up, but we're going to try to get into spoilers from here on in and tell you what we think about specific story elements. So stop listening now if you're not into spoilers. Because you play Assassin's Creed, yeah?
Yes. I've played a couple of video games, but it's definitely always been something that's I felt was super dense. And I think that actually shows in a lot of the story and exposition in this one. They tried their best to sort of boil a lot of it down, but the Assassin's Creed mythos and a lot of the story behind it is incredibly dense, I've always felt. And that really shows in this one, as I said. It's an intriguing story, one that definitely captures your imagination from the get-go. You don't know it's a video game right away, but it kind of becomes obvious as you literally reach the 3rd page. And it's an interesting recruiting tool that the Brotherhood has been using. So when you think about it, the Assassin's Creed video game, comic book, starting as a video game is kind of an interesting tie, right?
It's true. And yeah, it's exactly, now every time anybody sits down to Assassin's Creed, they're going to be like, am I actually being recruited by the Brotherhood right now?
Right. It's some Last Starfighter stuff. Like, instead of becoming a pilot, you become an assassin who travels back in time, I guess.
Sort of?
Maybe. I think that's the idea. You play through memories.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. If you play the video game, you're going to like this. But there was a lot for me to get hung up on. The art, I thought, was pretty good, but there were some very awkward poses and character expressions, I think. That's mean that in the nicest way. But it's an interesting story, one that has an ending that I think, I don't know how I feel about it, I'll be honest. Because it's the part of the draw for this, for a lot of us, I think, was that it's a woman of color featured in an Assassin's Creed title that is historically said it's hard to animate women.
Yeah.
So
that's it. I think that's exactly my problem with the title, but go ahead.
Yeah. I'll totally let you take that. I'm not going to dive too much into it, but then by the end of the book, they've got her living through the memories of her male ancestors. So it's like she kind of essentially gets erased in some small way. I know it's just the first issue, but that kind of set me off just a little bit. I just wasn't sure how to feel about it. I'm still decompressing about it. So yeah, it's just an interesting twist on the whole thing. I think it'll provide some interesting perspective, but there's no telling yet.
Yeah, I had exactly the same concern about the title. And yeah, the draw for me was the fact that we were following this character, Charlotte de la Cruz. I have never played Assassin's Creed. I've watched my girlfriend play Assassin's Creed in front of me, and it seems like a really cool game. I've never played it, but I did have the basic gist of like what it was about, and the fact that you're playing through ancestors' memories, that there's a present day component and a past component and all of that. So I kind of knew that going in, but I don't know anything about the actual gameplay or anything like that. But yeah, the draw was Charlotte de la Cruz, and her character is really interesting. When she starts out in the real world section of the comic book, she's definitely somebody who loves being Robin Hood. She works in the banking industry. She kind of wants to help people out, even if it means stealing from a major corporation and possibly getting fired from her job. She wants to help the little guy, and it's very important to her. She's very much of the Occupy Wall Street, we are the 99% mindset.
Right.
So,
chaotic good, right?
Yes, exactly. And so when she discovers that, when she gets recruited by the Brotherhood, she's like, yes, I knew I was destined to do something cool. Like she's totally into it. And I loved seeing that excitement. I loved seeing, a Latina protagonist have this kind of a role. And then to have her, as Jessica said, kind of erased by having her play through the memories of a white male ancestor was kind of iffy for me. And I don't know how the future of the book is going to be structured. This is issue 1, as she said, so Charlotte will likely have an equal part in the story as will her ancestor. I'm hoping. But I'm not sure which I would find better. Her being the main character in present day, or a different character, being in the present day and then playing as Charlotte de la Cruz in the past. Or, a part of me kind of wonders, why couldn't there be 2 female characters? Why couldn't the gameplay character also be a female assassin?
I mean, maybe the setup they have also can't animate women, and this is just a total nod towards Ubisoft.
And Ubisoft's logo is in the comics, so they clearly had some say. Maybe they were like, well, you can't draw women, because if you draw women, you might also have to, then people would expect us to animate them, in which case, whoa.
It's a little too much there.
A little too much. But yeah, no, obviously, it can be done, and I kind of think it should be done, especially if, Charlotte in this seems to be talking a lot about her mother, and her, because it's through her mother's heritage. So it's interesting that they're going to a male ancestor through her mom to this other female character. It's like, why not make this other character a woman? I don't know.
It really doesn't make any sense to me either. I mean, there's a tiny little blurb at the end that says, can she learn to synchronize with a man whose beliefs and methods she abhors? So, I mean, that's such an interesting, it's like, oh, can someone learn how to be a misogynist? I feel like is what they're asking. Maybe that's too much of a stretch, but I don't know.
Well, and it's interesting because I know when I have watched my girlfriend play Assassin's Creed, I think it's Black Flag, the pirate one, there is an element where there is you can play as a female character, I think. I seem to, and she's a female character of color as well, that you're playing kind of through her memories. And that was really cool because it was a male character doing it. You know, it was a male character kind of living a female experience, and that was something that was kind of revolutionary and really interesting. But yeah, the other way around, like, let's learn how to be a misogynist. Can she do it? It's like putting her through this obstacle course for no real reason other than just to see what happens. It's like not really a commentary on anything. It's more just an experiment. It's weird.
Right. And props to her for resisting so much that she ends up getting kicked out of the memory and throwing up. Because, yeah, I think we all would have done that.
Yeah, exactly. The title is worth picking up because of Charlotte de la Cruz. I personally would love to see more of her, and I would love to see this title supported so that characters like her keep getting written. And it's an interesting enough story, certainly, to see, and Charlotte de la Cruz is an interesting enough character to kind of wonder where she's going next. You know, I want to see how she uses this experience to go after her goals of trying to help people and see how that applies to her real life. So personally, I think it's worth picking up.
I agree. I think if you're a fan of the game, you should definitely pick it up. The ending, as much as we've said about it, still hooked me because it's going to be interesting to see that interplay. So it's definitely worth a pick up, at least this first issue.
So we definitely think you should pick up Assassin's Creed #1 this week. The story is called Trial by Fire. The writers are Anthony Del Cole and Connor McCreary, with art by Neil Edwards. Check it out, especially if you're an Assassin's Creed fan, or if you're a fan of female protagonists and want to see more of them in comics.
We'd love to hear what you think about it. Please respond in the comments, tweet at us with #PullWisely.
We are here for you. If you have any other recommendations, definitely put it in the comments under the video, under our post at the Mary Sue. Definitely check us out there, and we'll see you at the comic shop. Don't forget to pull wisely.
Take it easy.
Bye.